Right, big Champions League night just ended. All across Europe, big games, interesting storylines, and exactly for some of them, how we predicted them to go. Some very shocking and surprising, some not so shocking and surprising, but obviously not the kind of results that we wanted. Of course, of all of the Champions League games that went on, hi, Fiifi Manfred on YouTube. So subscribe to the channel and subscribe to the channel, turn on notification. In the notification, turn in, do choose all just anytime there is content. You are first to have it here on Fiifi Manfred on YouTube. It is very, very imperative that you subscribe to the channel and turn on notification. It's important that we talk about tonight's game on Fiifi Manfred on YouTube. But let's say a big thank you to all of you who come here to come and enjoy the analysis, and congratulations to all of you investors. Today, one of our 5 codes did boom. The 6 odds or 6 plus almost 7 odds now did boom. Congratulations. Congratulations. Regardless of how you staked it, if you put one money on it, on all of them, and definitely at least you're going to get your money back. And that's exactly what we do here. At least you're going to make some money and some profit on Fiifi Manfred. Congratulations to all of you for that big boom, no? And for that big win that has on Fiifi Manfred on YouTube. We go again, God willing, tomorrow. Tomorrow's games are much more clearer, much more better. In the morning, and we'll continue. And we are very certain that we're going to get a win, and that you got us. So, of course, go again on Thursday, go again on Friday, go again Saturday and Sunday, and of course, enter the week with a big one as you go on our house. Of course, always turn on notification. Let's see a big thank you to Yesumo Spare Parts Dealership Shop. It's the best place for car spare parts. We sorted, and they are goated in terms of car spare parts. Car be out PBR, and I don't know Yesumo's open. HRV gate or could be corner. Yes, or Bosoka post office. Go there and take care of him. Go there and contact him. He'll take very, very good care of you. He does what he calls a nationwide delivery. 059-313-8221. 059-313-8221. Yes, will take very good care of you. Of course, and let's say a good thank you to also to MOB Clothing, especially to Gerald. Now, and we said, hey, Gerald, message up, say, hey, bro. And he told me that all Nyaman offer free Dubai near India, and I got 2 solid containers. Charlie, so person retail wholesaler, Masa, MOB, another MOB. Look sharp. Contact MOB right now. Or to my flower station or to the whole MOB. Or Charlie, if you know look sharp, you know go contact MOB. You go do your work. Charlie, look sharp, then go contact MOB. 0200 668 708 0200 668 708. I beg. Contact MOB Clothing. Let him sort you out. Retailing, wholesale, and come on. The Champions League games that go on. It is match day 4 in the Champions League. And this morning I called it the Yetiti Abetieno, Nane Channel, no Champions League conversation. Because so your team, and then you don't start picking up your points and you're in trouble. Last season, and then Enzo Maresca in a pre-match press conference. No, I'm going to say, last season, a 15 point was a 16 point at least, and the teams are called automatic qualifying rounds. So what it means is that this season, so person qualify coding automatically, you need at least 15 points. You're about 4 games are. So where we didn't need, you'll be 12. What about draw back where we need 3? I'll be 10. So I mean, when I count 4 more games that you can be close to it, Arsenal for a perfect record. Very, very important for them to be able to go away from home against Slavia Prague. It's a game that you had to win your match. When we win your match, you are going to be in some serious trouble. Teams wanted to go there and then go and get a job done. It was a Mikel Arteta show again in Prague, in the capital of Czech Republic. Mikel Arteta and Manti went there and they didn't concede a single goal. And I said it the last time that see the defensive solidity of Arsenal, their physicality, the dwelling ability of the team, how compact they are. Even when they make changes at the back, and the Piero and Capie, Babe Boy, they didn't have a bench friend, Victor Gyökeres up top. They, in the middle of the pack, it wasn't the regular players. But still, Mikel Arteta's side were brilliant on the night. They got a job done. They delivered. They beat Slavia Praha, who have said several times that at home are one of the most difficult sides to play against in Europe now. Almost show by 3-0. 3-0. And a team, your friend Arsenal, and mind you, Arsenal were without a bench friend Victor Gyökeres. Their standing centre forward was a bench your friend Mikel Merino. Now, Mikel Merino, while standing in for a bench friend Victor Gyökeres, scored 2 goals. And that is the thing. I remember when Arsenal were going to buy Mikel Merino from Real Sociedad. One of the things that I was very clear in my mind on that Mikel Merino will give Arsenal was the fact that his physique and persona gives them the ability that sometimes when they want to go long, he is that outlet that they will be able to go for. And one thing I've liked about Mikel Arteta and the team, and they say every game that they play, they mix it up. Mikel Arteta doesn't care, say he has a good build-up in team. Everything has to be short build-up part things. No, they mix it up. And it's one of the reasons why David Raya is an important goalkeeper for them. Almost every time they go long. Almost, in fact, last season, they were one of the teams in the English Premier League that had gone long a lot of the times. And they had profiles like your friend Mikel Merino to win the first ball, to win the second ball, pick it up and then transict and play forward. And they make things happen for them. It is one of the strengths of Arsenal and Mikel Arteta when it comes to the games that have been going on in there. And I think that they deserve our 3 points. And what it means is that Arsenal, since September, conceded a goal. The last person that scored a goal against Arsenal, yet Newcastle 4 player friend Nick Voltemade. Voltemade is the last player that scored against Mikel Arteta Arsenal. Since then, nobody has been able to score against Arsenal. And then it was also another clean sheet for Mikel Arteta. And then Mantiene on the first goal by Brentford friend Bukayo Saka, who was the captain from the penalty spot, got a job done. And after that, Mikel Merino, in the second half, made it happen for Team friend Arsenal Football Club. What it means is that Arsenal are on top of the Champions League group standings, on top, unbeaten. No team has been able to beat them. Villarreal, they're playing against Spartak Prague. Everybody that Arsenal have met on the way. I said the last time that they had a fairly, very, very good draw. But in all of that, they still delivered. They've gotten the job done for Mikel Arteta and then Mantiene on the other side, in the early kickoff, it was Napoli at home in Italy, in Naples, playing against team friend Eintracht Frankfurt. Now, I mean, people who essentially say that Papa friend Antonio Conte, a local champion, have been justified one more time. I mean, this is a team, Antonio Conte, that went away from home to play against PSV Eindhoven, and it was a total drop for the Italian and the Italian team. It wasn't good. And you know the funny thing for Antonio Conte, since the absence of a bunch of friend Kevin De Bruyne, Romelu Lukaku, the team has been bereft when it comes to creativity. Whether from outside in Lower Lang or David Neres, essentially there's been nothing like that. To the extent that a bunch of friend Frank Andre Zombo Anguissa, who is essentially a box-to-box 8, is the main source of creativity for the Napoli team. And that is definitely not good. And then in the middle, there was Stanislav Lobotka, there was a bunch of friend Andrei Sombo Anguissa, of course, the Chionom, Ragmani Monia, the other one using Di Lorenzo, trying to see if a bunch of friend Matteo Politano can create something for them. But I knew that there was no way they were going to beat team Frankfurt. So in one of those games that won, it was a Napoli double chance at home. Because Napoli, a team that you can't really trust, especially when they play in this big Champions League night. What it means is that Napoli don't have enough points. And then on the Champions League table, after this set of games, Napoli are not in a good place. And Antonio Conte knows that he needs to get back into winning ways. He needs to find ways to get back into the conversation and start winning games. And yes, he is going to get and be under a lot of trouble and pressure. Our Naples when it comes to the games now, they have been able to play very important. And then before Jude Bellingham went on to playing that game against Liverpool, he was going to make his 50th UCL game, and he was going to be the youngest player to overtake that feat for Champions League game, and that's a bunch of friend Jude Bellingham. And of course, Joshua Kimmich on the other side was making his 100th UCL appearance for your friend FC Bayern Munich. Now, the big one was the one that went on our Franks, and it was Bayern that went away from home from Paris Saint-Germain. See, Bayern have proven to all of us, say they are a team that you just can't write off. You can't just say that it is hype. To be very honest, that wasn't hype. That was total conservative. Not conservative, but total, proper performance from Bayern Munich and the performance that they put up or the Parc des Princes. It was the home of the current holders of the UCL. It is at the Parc des Princes. You don't go and play in games like that and think that it's going to be easy for you. Vincent Kompany took his team there. It was high press, high risk, high reward, and that's exactly what they did. 2 goals from a brand here, your friend Luis Diaz. They take the game on its head for team your friend FC Bayern Munich. On a very, very quick goal over there for Abrante's friend Luis Diaz. Something very interesting happened. Luis Diaz, after scoring the 2 goals, to Kudi red card, and he in a free. But before that, there was an injury to Abrante's friend Ousmane Dembele, who has scored what he thought was the equalizer at the time. By a Kokoshe VAR review, he was in an offside position. So what it meant is that Abrante's friend Ousmane Dembele was not going to get the results that he was expected to get, expecting to get at that point in time when he went to play against him, your friend Paris Saint-Germain. When he had started that game, thought that he was going to get a goal. It was definitely not going to happen for Abrante's your friend Ousmane Dembele. In the second half, after Abrante's your friend Luis Diaz, it is a yellow card. It prolonged the game. The game became a little bit stretched in the second half. Bayern wanted to consolidate and defend their lead. Our tournament. That's exactly what they tried to do, and they did. Managed to stay in the game. They played with 1 man down for about 45 minutes, and they made sure they protected the lead and then won the game by 2-1. What it means is that apart from Arsenal Football Club, Bayern Munich have also gone on to play in 4 games in the opening 4 fixtures our Champions League game, and nobody has been able to defeat them. What it means is that Bayern are just 1 more win away from cementing a place in the knockout phases, automatic qualification, our Champions League. And what a job Abrante's friend Vincent Kompany and Martin have done. The press, the counter press of the ball job, the controlling one from Abrante's friend Alexander Pavlovich, of course, partnered by Abrante's friend Joshua Kimmich. The role of Abrante's friend Joseph Stanisic and of course Konrad Laimer in those half spaces and going very high to press and counter press. It was Rex reward, of course, but then again, Bayern came on top. And it was the most successful game that they've played, especially away from home in France. Bayern were very, 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 very successful. They got that win. The second half, obviously, Paris Saint-Germain came with a goal from Abrante's friend Gonzalo Ramos, hoping that he will be able to get something for team friend Paris Saint-Germain. But that did not happen. It didn't happen for Paris Saint-Germain for entire game when they came into the second half to try and see if they get a win. It did not happen for them. In London, there was a big one that was going on after Tottenham Hotspur had lost that game to Chelsea Football Club in the manner in which they did. They had come under some form of pressure from fans. Most of their fans have been asking questions about Tottenham Hotspur, especially their coach Thomas Frank, and they didn't win because they had lots of draws and things like that. Games it was very, very important when it comes to those matches now when people feel like, okay, can Tottenham Hotspur get the win? Can they not get the win? Is it going to be easy for them? Won't they manage to do all of those things now? But that is exactly what Tottenham Hotspur did. 4-0, even though they were man down against Copenhagen, they did exactly the job that everybody expected them to do. Tottenham managed to get that. Today, somebody called me from the UK and said that the name is not Tottenham, it's Tottenham. Said it's Tottenham. Okay. So now, when I'm doing analysis, senior man Cliff, I'll make sure I have it in there. And I know it's right. It's Tottenham. Tottenham managed to go into it and got that all-important win and get the maximum 3 points also to boost themselves or the standings or the English, the Champions League group stages or something that is very, very huge for Tottenham Hotspur and the games that we're going to play, especially in the Champions League, of course, in other games, Atletico de Madrid backed up a good performance that they had in the recent weeks or Spanish La Liga after that game against Rayo Vallecano. They were able to stay into it and get an excellent win against Team Friend Union Saint-Gilloise. Managed to beat them by 3-1. It was the first goal scored by Abrante's friend Julian Alvarez, and of course, they struggled to get a goal by the 72nd minute. Abrante's friend Conor Gallagher made it 2-0, and later on, Abrante's friend Loriente made it 3-1 for team friend Atletico de Madrid. What it means is that Atletico de Madrid, after losing to Liverpool in a couple of not so good performances with Spanish La Liga, and they are climbing out to the very top and closing in the berth for a place in the knockout stages of the Champions League also themselves. It's something that they want to play in. Over Atletico Madrid, these are the games that you want to play in. Julian Alvarez and the likes would want to map up a strategy and probably go and play in the Champions League. Knockout stages now. It was the second game under the tenure of Abrante's friend Luciano Spalletti, one of my favorite Italian managers, for the job that he was able to do at Napoli, Naples, to win the Scudetto, it was important. So I remember on the nights where Victor Osimhen was at his peak, when Abrante Fenevica Kvaratskhelia was at his peak, there was a coach in the dugout called Abrante Fene Luciano Spalletti. And Spalletti, especially on the nights where he was coaching his second game, first win over the weekend, our talents regarding him, he had to stay at home in Turin and do it against team friend Sporting CP. But trust me, Sporting CP for are not an easy team. So I was a first goal for Sporting CP from Abrante Fene Araujo, and then team friend Juventus fought it back. It looks as if Dusan Vlahovic is going to get good. I mean, good luck under the new coach, friend Luciano Spalletti. He managed to come on to get the draw. Juve forced the issue, tried to see they could get a win. It didn't happen for them. And of course, far away, I think in Sweden, Bodo Glimt managed to, lose that game to Monaco by 1-0. But the big one was Liverpool staying at home to play against Real Madrid. What a performance from Anna Slot and Emrant, I'd said this weekend, this is the season, this is in the last few weeks, last weekend, Anna Slot went back to the style of play that he's known to play. That got Liverpool success last season. The over-reliance of some level of creativity and holding on to the ball and all of that had been taken away. This time, they were much more direct. They were through into the thirds, in the channels, and then allowed Mohamed Salah to use his back to go to influence games. And of course, the ball carrying ability of Amartya friend Hugo Ekitike. It was very, very important for Liverpool. I think that's exactly what got the job done. At home, where they needed to win to also get to the very top. I think to probably get 9 points in the conversation, because they have already lost one to team friend Galatasaray. It was important for Liverpool to go into the game and get the result that they wanted to get. Of course, we knew the backstory of Abrante Fene Trent Alexander-Arnold returning and what could have happened. It did happen, Elsa matching. But then the most important thing was what happened on the field of play. When Madrid tried several times, they couldn't break down the defense of team friend Liverpool. In fact, it was a resolute defense, one of the best that I've seen in a very, very long time. For the back four of Liverpool, Conor Bradley, Virgil van Dijk, Ibrahima Konate, Andy Robertson, of course, Georgie Mamadashvili managed to shut out Kylian Mbappe and Abrante Fene Vini Jr. for 90 solid minutes. And what it meant in all of that, in the context of everything, is that Liverpool are the only side to have won more European Champions League games 2-0 against Real Madrid. Liverpool for Real Madrid, they have kept a clean sheet in all 5 of their UCL games against the Los Blancos. Oh man, that is some interesting statistic. In fact, throughout the game, it was the hard work of all of those midfielders. Alex McAllister, Ryan Gravenberch, of course, added by Florian Wirtz, and of course, Abrantia, your friend Domenico Szoboszlai, essentially to try and force the issue and break down Liverpool for. Szoboszlai had come close for a couple of times to try and get the win against Tima, your friend try and get the goal against goalkeeper friend Thibaut Courtois, but Courtois was exceptional. In fact, for large parts of the game, it felt like it was Thibaut Courtois versus Tima, your friend of Liverpool. Courtois was the main guy that was keeping Liverpool out until that excellent header from a brand your friend Alexis McAllister. He was explicit and smart in his positioning and then headed home that very, very important goal for Tima, your friend Liverpool. Ibrahima Konate really made things difficult for Abrante friend Kylian Mbappe. He closed in on him. He was physical on him. He prevented Abrante friend Kylian Mbappe from turning around to getting anything against them. It was a super performance for Abrante friend Kylian Mbappe. And also, credit to Abrante friend Conor Bradley. That solid defensive job by the boy who is a Scouser. He got a job done. No goal, no assist, no shots, but 4 key passes, 33 passes, 1/3 dribbles, 9 duels won, lost possession 19 times. That is exactly how Vini Jr. struggled against Abrantia, your friend Conor Bradley. Bradley did not make it easy for him. He was physical, he was combative, he stepped up to him. He made it very, very difficult for Abrantia, your friend, Abrantia friend Vini Jr. To have any chance at influencing the game. He made it very, very difficult for him. And Liverpool want to make sure back-to-back goals against Real Madrid at Anfield in the Champions League. He did it the last time, last season, when Madrid played against him, a friend Liverpool. Abrantia, your friend Alexis McAllister was right there. He got a goal. And then this time also, when Liverpool needed a goal, they had to call on Argentine maestro Abrantia Efreno Alexis McAllister, also stepping up and delivering and getting the job done for Team Efreno Football Club. Liverpool, Madrid for no him say it was a tough game for them, and then this is their first loss of Champions League game. They need to pick up the pieces and get back into winning ways. It's definitely not going to be easy for anybody else Champions League. If you want to qualify, you need to earn it. If you want to go through, you need to earn it. It's not going to be a straightforward thing for anybody else. Of course, Florian Wirtz started in that game against team your friend Liverpool. He tried. I think this is one of the good games for our brand friend Florian Wirtz. And Florian Wirtz created more chances than any other player on the pitch. And then against Real Madrid, he was the best player in terms of creativity. Also, matching more on. The sad thing is that social statistics now, Liverpool for totally they beat team friend Real Madrid. 1 goal for Liverpool, none for Madrid. 2.55